Another quarterback, Jayden Daniels, took the league by storm this season. Rams coach Shawn McVay commented on how impressed he was by Daniels, saying that he loved his ability to be, quote, totally immersed in the moment. That's one of the things I loved about watching him. I don't see that changing. He's going to be really scary for a long time. Colin, I think there's a really important point, too, to be made about Jayden Daniels, which is to say he's never too high, he's never too low. Now, that can go one of two ways. If you're not winning, fans would say, well, why doesn't he show more emotion? But when you are winning and you're that mature, it makes perfect sense. And I go back to what Cliff Kingsbury told me, something he did before the season started. He went to his quarterback, Jayden Daniels, and he said, what are the 3, 4, 5 best plays and concepts that you ran at LSU? Now show me that on the board, and we will design the offense predicated on that foundation. And so if you think about why that's important, not only to build the camaraderie and rapport, but for Jayden to be able to fall back when maybe things aren't going so well and know that at the very least he has a few plays and concepts, schemes that he's really comfortable with. He also has the full trust of Dan Quinn, of Adam Peters. They are building that franchise on his shoulders, and I couldn't be more impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're in that division, you have to now build. I mean, I think that's why Dallas doesn't want to get rid of Micah, is because they have to have an elite pass rusher in a division with Jayden Daniels.
Yeah.
And I can see Dallas saying if it was a strong draft where we could duplicate Micah for much less money, but I think Dallas looks at it and thinks the only way to beat Washington and Philly going forward is put pressure on those quarterbacks. So again, this draft is so weak by draft standards. I think it makes it very difficult to make moves for like teams like Dallas or maybe a Pittsburgh that would move off an expensive player, but there's nobody in this draft to replace them or necessarily even close.
Yeah. When I was setting up this clip, like this is the first time I saw it, but I saw the bottom line, and I saw like Jayden Daniels and Shawn McVay, and I'm like, what the heck is this about? And he says like he's going to be scary for a long time, and I just like before I hit play on the clip, I was just thinking to myself like, yeah, tell me something I don't know, like what, like like what are we saying right now? But and then I always find it funny when we're still kind of we're still trying to figure out like how emotional a player should be, and when you're winning it's great, but when you're losing it's like fans want you to see like more emotion and stuff like that. And it's not that they want to see they want you to show more emotion. They just want to know that you care. Okay, and any of the fans that want you to see more emotion, like some of those fans then are just fundamentally confused as to like what it takes to do your job well, kind of in any aspect, but especially the NFL. And so, like Jalen Hurts is the perfect example of this because he's arguably the most stoic quarterback in the NFL, maybe like in NFL history. And like, you could never say that he doesn't care. Like he literally had the wallpaper of him losing the Super Bowl on his phone for a couple years. So it's like no one could say that he does not care. But in the middle of the game, right, he's not going to like be carrying on or showing all this extra. Even in the Super Bowl, he like throws like a beautiful pass, a beautiful touchdown pass, like, I think at that point it was going to put it up 34-0, or I forget at this point, it was 36-4, whatever it was. And like, the old line was all fired up and they were like, oh my God, I love when they down. And he was just like, I know, it was just like such like a casual thing. And it's just like, that is a superpower. And so what Jayden Daniels brings in that regard, like, make no mistake about it, like, it is a superpower when you can be highly, highly, highly motivated and care to your core, but not be driven by the emotions. There's other players that their superpower is being able to ride the emotions, because there are some players that the emotions get the best of them. I mean, we see that all the time, especially with like wide receivers and whatnot. But like other people, like they use their emotions as their way to like kind of energize them, whether it's anger, whether it's happiness, sadness, like it's all different things. I'm a very emotional person in that regard. So I get driven through my emotions. I'm not driven through emotionless. When I'm feeling more neutral, more chill, more relaxed, it's hard for me to kind of do a much of anything. But like there's plenty of times when I'm making videos and it's because like I'm driven by like anger, by sadness. Maybe something's going on in my personal life. Maybe it's something going on with like a comment, right? And sometimes someone will be like, oh, haha, like you're trash. And it's like, oh yeah, you want to see how much trash I am? Like, let's get it. And like, I'm going to make like 8 videos like right now, post them all, get the views, get the comments, you know, just to prove you wrong or whatever. Like I get driven from so many different angles, but it's very emotional. But at the same time, when it's time for me to produce, whether I was, you know, at the time when I was playing and on the field or even things like that, like I'm still very much like this in that regard. I don't go up and down in that regard. So we all express kind of how we're driven, how we experience our emotions, how we you know, experience them and express them, which are going to be 2 completely different things. So it's just it is always funny to me when people try to dissect that, especially when they don't actually have a deep understanding of like what emotions and thoughts and feelings all are, which again, like I come from a psychology background, so that's very much my expertise in that regard. And so I will always find that entertaining. But make no mistake about it, someone like a Jayden Daniels has, you know, multiple superpowers, and I've talked about this at length. You know, it's just like his superpower is his ability to be a game manager. His superpower is his ability to be a game changer, game breaker. His superpower is his ability to stay, you know, even keeled, whether he's up by 20 or down by 20. Like his superpower is his mobility. His superpower is his ability to stay within the pocket and be a pocket passer. Like he just checks every single mark. And it's almost kind of funny because when you see him play in you know, as a rookie, and you see all of the things that he can do, and you just kind of look at that and you think to yourself, like, how was it not like an absolute no-brainer, right? Like when he does everything at such a high level and so quickly, you're just like, how would there ever be like any question mark, any doubt? Someone like a Nick Wright, who obviously going into that last season was all about, you know, Caleb Williams, and how Caleb Williams is going to be an MVP candidate and go to the Super Bowl, et cetera, et cetera. We know all that. But like, how would there ever, like, it's like, how could you not actually say that about Jayden Daniels? And again, it's easier said than done because it's going from college to the pros. But that's kind of, again, the impact that Jayden Daniels has, because it really looks like such a no-brainer. Like, so like you watch him play and you're like, well, of course he's special, of course he's amazing, of course he's elite. How could anyone ever not know that? Because it's just so clear. Like it's so apparent. You don't have to look to see it. You don't have to look to find it. Just pick any game, even a game that he didn't jump off the screen, it still somehow jumps off the screen, which is just pretty wild. And so I get why there's going to be such you know, momentum, intensity, and belief behind him. I also get why people are going to be like, well, hey, you know, tap the brakes on him, etc., etc. But like, I don't know, man. Shawn McVay's not tapping the brakes. And again, it's different when a coach is kind of saying that. You know, coaches are always going to kind of just say the right things and toe the line. Even if he thought Jayden Daniels was going to be trash, right? Like he would still say like, you know, he's going to be scary for a long time. You know, he's a great player. Like, so you can't always take what they say as truth. But at the same time, I think he would have phrased it differently. He would have said, you know, it seems like Jayden Daniels is going to have a great career for years to come or something. But I do think when you say something like he's going to be scary for a long time, that is like a true vote of confidence and a belief in that. And again, you know, if it's good enough for Shawn McVay, then it's good enough for me. And anyone who wants to dare that they believe that they know more about quarterback play than Shawn McVay, by all means, feel free to share your knowledge in the comment section. I will look forward to reading it. But definitely start your comment with, I know more than Shawn McVay, and here's why. Jayden Daniels won't be scary for a long time because he's going to have a sophomore slump, and now that they're going to have tape on him, he's not going to be that good, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I can't wait to read those comments. But let me know in the comments below. I'll read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.